because you've been locked up for 2 years. Listen, whether you're traveling for fun to Italy, Greece, Spain, France, or somewhere else fun in the world, or USA, now is a great time to book before the crowds hit and save. Plus, with a strong U.S. dollar, you'll get more travel bang for your buck. Right now is a smart time to make your reservations and call low-cost airlines. With one phone call, you can let us do all the work for free. We'll shop hundreds of airlines, hotels, resorts, and give you a way to save huge money on your vacation plans. And if you call right now, we'll give you a free hotel room with a qualified travel purchase. So call right now.
800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. That's 800-704-1662.
Listen, you can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Thursday afternoon to you, and yes, it is time for the McFarland Show here on National Sports Radio. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Darren and Justin here with you live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. We are the McFarlands, if you haven't figured that out. Damon Keene is alongside. He won't be here tomorrow, so I guess he was going to make up for tomorrow by decking himself out in UT orange. Justin. Lots of orange from one Damon Keene, who the big orange is off. The Vols are off this week. They're not even playing a game.
Here. Not even here.
Not even playing this week. Still. He is a loyal fan. No baseball tonight. Everything's done.
Yeah.
First round in the books.
Yeah.
All sweeps.
Anticlimactic there.
Yeah.
And no need for the drama.
No need for the drama. Tampa at home loses both games. Rangers dominate. Texas moves on. The wild card series. The Twins, congratulations to them. That crowd, man, at Target Field was outstanding.
Yeah.
First series they've won in 21 years.
Wow. Congratulations to them.
Remember, they had the streak before. Let me pull it up here because I saved this. When they won game one, they broke a streak. They led all of professional sports with most consecutive playoff losses. I don't know if you knew this.
No.
They went into that series losers of 18. Just think about this. Wrap your head around this.
Whew.
They had lost 18 straight playoff games.
It's a lot of losing.
That is not the series.
No,
Justin.
games.
18 games, 18 playoff games in a row.
You got to go find Kirby Puckett, just about to get to the last winner.
Well, it was during this whole span of 2004 to 2020. And, this is the first series they've won since 2001.
Jeez.
But, yeah, they led all of professional sports, MLB, NHL, NBA, NFL. They had lost 18 consecutive playoff games. Now, I've got a list of the 6 teams throughout the history of professional sports who had lost the most consecutive playoff losses. Let's see. There's one NHL team. Two NHL teams, 2 NBA teams, and another MLB team. No NFL teams on this list.
Well, yeah, that would be bad.
That would be
because
unbelievable.
They don't play a lot of series, they don't in the NFL. So
correct.
You would have to lose quite a bit.
Yeah,
that's a lot of wild card losing.
That would be beyond obnoxious.
Yeah. You got to start over at that point.
Could you imagine losing 18 NFL playoff games in a row? Because
that means you've lost 18 years in a row.
Oh man,
jeez,
that would be brutal.
That's rough stuff.
So I know I'm just asking just to throw darts. Any idea? And it's kind of all over. They're not too old. The oldest one is 70s. There's one
straight
late
playoff
80s
losses.
to mid 90s.
I would think the Washington basketball franchise would be on there somewhere.
The Washington Bullets or
Bullets or Wizards, one or the other. Yeah.
Nope.
They're not on the list?
Nope.
And there's an NBA team that's lost more. Okay.
Yeah. And believe it or not, in the 2000s. How about that? There's your hint. NBA team in the 2000s. Actually, both NBA teams in the 2000s.
What about the Charlotte basketball program? No,
they don't even go to the playoffs.
Well, I thought
awful.
A lot of, because what you're looking at, I would think is a lot of. I'm thinking of the teams who end up getting swept in the first round. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, you have to actually go to the playoffs to be on this list.
Yes.
So
I'm thinking about the 7 and 8 seeds.
The Hornets were back in the 90s.
Yeah, but they had a couple of. Well, never. Maybe they didn't. Okay. So. I know the Hawks have won games, so it's not them.
Yeah.
And the Pelicans, I think, have won games, so it's not them.
Yeah.
So, that I'm running out of bullets
here.
here.
You're doing well?
It's not the Orlando Magic.
No.
They've won one playoff game since then. So, like I said, it's, to get on that kind of list where you've lost dozens of playoff games in a row, if it's not Washington, Toronto's been, they've won a championship recently. So it's...
Yep.
No, I'm going to swing and miss with a lot of them.
One team lost 14 consecutive. The other lost 13 consecutive.
14 and 13 consecutive playoff games. Jeez. Who would that be in that basket there? It's not the Nets. It wouldn't be not even the Knicks. The Knicks didn't get swept. Or did they? Oh, yeah, there was that thing. Okay. I believe it was the New York Knicks there. They went through a bit of a dark period,
yes.
I think.
The
Okay.
New York Knicks are 13.
They're the 13.
Yep.
So there's somebody who's 14.
2001 to 2012.
It's not the clip joint.
Nope.
Because they've actually won a few games. It's not, it's no Milwaukee. No, it's not them. I don't think I'm going to be able to come up with this other basketball team.
Motor City Kitties.
Really?
The Detroit Pistons. 14.
Really?
2008 to 2019. You tell me the last time you remember the Pistons outside of Bill Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman, and Isaiah Thomas winning playoff games.
Well, it was Chauncey Billups and
they did.
Rip Hamilton and those guys.
Won an NBA.
They won an NBA championship and they went back.
They beat the Spurs, right? Or lost to the Spurs?
I can't remember who they beat, but they absolutely won an NBA championship, and I think they won the Eastern Conference the next year, and they lost. In the finals.
Yeah, but 2008 to 2019, Pistons 14.
So that would have been the back end of those teams then, probably that didn't do well. Wow.
Yeah, the Chicago Blackhawks were second. This is the team from the 70s.
Okay.
75. Think about this. 75 to 79. 16 games. That means
that's a lot of losing.
To do that, hold on.
You get swept.
That's
swept
right?
5 years in a row.
I was to say that's getting swept 5 years in a row, 4 years in a row.
At least 4 years.
No, 4 years in a row getting swept.
No.
Wow.
Because four is just 12.
No, 4 times 4.
4 times 4
4
is
years.
It's 16.
16.
Okay, there we go. Been up a
4
while.
years of getting swept.
Yes, that's a lot of losing.
Ouch. The other hockey team was from 1993 to 2001, the Los Angeles Kings. 14. And 86 to 95, the Boston Red Sox.
Well, yeah. I mean, they were still trying to overcome Bill Buckner for a little while there. It set them back that much. That one play set them back that much. So yeah, I knew they were in rough shape. They were in a rough mental space for a little while there. So good list. That's
pretty
interesting.
cool, huh?
That's very interesting.
So congratulations.
Good for the Twinkies.
Yeah, I was to say, so they get the first monkey off their back by actually winning a playoff game, and then they go on and just win the next game and win a series. So congratulations to them. They beat the Blue Jays. D-backs get it done over Pogie's Brewers. So Arizona moves on. By the way, that is 2 of the 3 series, and the Marlins lost to the Phillies. So it was an even split. 2 home teams, 2 road teams.
Okay.
Swept the series.
Okay. So now the DS is set to go
Saturday. No baseball tonight, no baseball tomorrow. They will start the divisional rounds, the divisional series. It'll start Saturday at noon. Rangers, Orioles, followed by Twins, Astros. Phillies, Braves will be 6 o'clock our time. That'll be first pitch that you can hear that game right on here, I believe, following the TSU game. I need to check that with Adam, but I would assume it'll be TSU. They're at Kennesaw State, and then it'll just go directly into the Braves-Phillies series.
Okay.
Game 1.
Okay.
But that's not my call. I think I'll check with Adam. Actually, that's incorrect. It's a 5 o'clock game. So my bad. It'll actually be in progress. And then D-backs Dodgers in the nightcap.
There you go. Set to go there. So, I know the Braves fans, this is when it gets real.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up here. And, and what Chris Domino, who was on our show the other day, said, it has a lot of truth to it. Whatever this team has done during the regular season, if they don't, win a championship, at least if they don't get to the World Series, I think, at the very least, then a lot of what they accomplish is going to be forgotten pretty fast. They're going to be an underachieving team if they don't at least get to the World Series. And I know that's a lot to put on them and ask of them, but that's just the reality of the situation, I think, when it comes to this particular baseball team. They're the division champions 6 years in a row. The team is loaded. They have produced all year. This is the time. They're rested. The rotation is set. If you're them, it's time to go. And it's time to go ahead and finish this historic season.
We'll come back. We'll check in with Terry McCormick. We'll find out who was on the practice field today. We'll talk all things Titans with him, and we'll do that next here on the McFarland Show. Nashville Sports
Bob's
Radio.
Steak and Chop House, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, is a nationally renowned steakhouse specializing in the finest corn-fed Midwestern prime beef. The menu formula is simple: incredible meat, gigantic shrimp, fabulous salads, and decadent desserts. Start your experience at Bob's with the fried calamari or fresh scallops seared in Texas burnt honey. All the beef at Bob's Steak and Chop House are USDA prime cuts. From the traditional filet of tenderloin and ribeye to the adventurous Kansas City bone-in strip. They even have 2 different surf and turf options. And if you're looking for the other white meat, Bob's Steak and Chop House serves a dry-aged pork tomahawk with homemade applesauce. Fresh seafood is on the menu, from salmon to scampi, and even fresh lobster tail. For reservations, give them a call or log on to the Omni Nashville Hotel website. Bob's Steak and Chop House at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
I've got a unique vacation idea for you that's right here in the United States. If you're ready for a vacation that's fun and downright affordable, listen up. It's driving distance for many of you, so no planes, no airline delays, no hassles. It's Branson, Missouri, the entertainment capital of the Midwest. Live music for everyone. Branson has 3 beautiful, enormous lakes, water attractions, live shows, great food, and tons of entertainment. It's a perfect vacation for you and your family, or if you're retired and you want to have a great time. And you can stay in Branson for as low as $99 a night. Please understand, this is not a timeshare offer. It's a real vacation for as little as $99 a night. We've got a free vacation guide we want to send you right now. All you have to do is call for complete details. Get your free Branson, Missouri guide right now by calling this number.
800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. That's 800-413-3953.
RPG came through the belly of the aircraft. We don't talk about the female combat wounded. These are our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. Wounded Warrior Project came into my life and taught me how to stand back up and get back in the fight. The truth is, I think we all have this strength inside of us, but until you're tested, you just don't know what's there.
See how Wounded Warrior Project empowers women veterans like Beth by visiting woundedwarriorproject.org/empowerwomenvets.
Trusted for creative design and committed to both the function and aesthetics of your smile, Jody Jones Dentistry for 26 years has provided a wide range of general and cosmetic dentistry services along Nashville's Music Row and coming soon to Hermitage and Murfreesboro. The Nashville leader for cosmetic dentistry provides a unique luxury environment for patients who want his famous Hollywood smile. Just ask the country music stars, actors, athletes. Yeah, he was 8 years the dentist for the Predators who display his celebrity smile. To learn more, visit JodyJonesDDS.com or call 615-259-5100.
It's the Bill King Show.
I just saw guys at Tennessee that did not look all that interested in playing the game of football. I'm calling them out right now. It was an embarrassing performance by the Tennessee Volunteers. They got lots of issues. They will get bashed on this show today. Don't care what anybody else thinks. Doesn't matter to me.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Welcome back to the Strike and Spare Studios. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Rolling along on this Thursday afternoon, Darren and Justin here with you. By the way, you can watch our show every day on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Or you can just listen anywhere in the world. We're now joined by Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com. He is putting his full focus on the Titans. There's nothing to worry about on the baseball side of things because he just doesn't care what's going on in postseason play. Terry, what's going on?
Well, I can't say that I don't care because I love baseball. And by George, couldn't somebody force a third game so I wouldn't have to watch the Bears and Commanders tonight?
Yeah, that's what we get. That's our treat tonight. Bears, Commanders, because we have no baseball. Although because the ESPN expected to have baseball, they have moved the Western Kentucky football game over to ESPN. So you could watch Western Kentucky tonight if you want to do that. You're like right by Bowling Green,
Wow.
Well, how about that?
That's nice.
Yeah. It's tough having one of the highest payrolls in baseball and not even making the playoffs.
Man.
It's weird, Definitely weird.
Yeah.
How would you awkward transition? Let's see. Kyle Phillips. How would you assess him to this point right now as a Tennessee Titan?
I don't really think there's enough evidence there that you can make a decision one way or the other, except to say that he's been injury prone. He's had bad luck with injuries. 2 injuries last year, a hamstring and a shoulder that, cost him all but 4 games, and then the knee that cost him the first 4 games this year. So, it's another one of those guys that the Titans have, had on their roster that have been beset with injuries, and it's just, hard to get a read on those guys if they're not on the field.
So you're going to put him in the category of mystery. He's a big mystery right now. We just don't know, right?
Right. I mean, when he's been out there, he's been pretty productive. He had a nice game against the Giants in the season opener last year, but, that's a long time ago. And it's going to be interesting to see what he can give them and how much they can get out of him and how big of a role that they will give him, because the move of waiving Mason Kinsey would seem to indicate that Kyle Phillips is going to be their punt returner.
Mm-hmm.
But given his injury history,
Yes.
I mean, I personally think that's a little bit risky to put him right back out there and say, not only be our slot receiver, be our punt returner, and let's hope for the best. I would have probably only given him the slot receiver duties initially and rolled with Mason Kinsey, who did a pretty good job Sunday in that role.
I would agree, and that's where I was going to ask. Do you think they're actually going to put him in there to do returns with everything you just laid out about him? So, okay, you just kind of answered that. So, along the same lines, I'm going to ask you the same question and assess Treylon Burks to this point. What's your write-up on him?
Well, when he's been available, he's been really good at times. And then at other times, it seems like he has games occasionally where he disappears. He had the 70-yard catch against the Chargers and then did not have a very good game. Of course, nobody had a good game against the Browns. It was just one of those days where they couldn't get anything going. Running the ball, throwing the ball, whatever. And Treylon Burks is a guy that, he shows the potential. He flashes the potential that shows you that, hey, this guy could be a number one receiver. But then he doesn't do it consistently enough, and he hasn't stayed healthy enough to be able to sustain that. And, I think kind of unfairly, because he was the yield in the A.J. Brown trade, people have kind of said, okay, this is the guy that's got to take A.J. Brown's role. Well, A.J. Brown is one of the top 5 or 6 receivers in the NFL, and hindsight being 2020, probably shouldn't have traded him away. No matter what you may have thought of his physical condition with the supposed degenerative knee and all that stuff, doesn't seem to be hurting the Eagles any. So with Treylon Burks, it's a little bit unfair because he is projected as the guy that has to replace A.J. Brown. But still, even without that, I think you have to see more and more consistently.
But do you really think he's got do you think he can be an actual number one receiver? I mean, really? A number one in the NFL?
Everything, he has the talent.
But how do we know that? I mean, when I think number ones, I think Justin Jefferson. I think Jamar Chase. I think Stephon Diggs. I think, Deebo Samuel. I mean, I can go on it, right? Like, I just don't feel like, right now, I don't even, you say within the small samples that we have seen that's been really good, like, but that's so small and such a little window. Like, I just, number one receiver, I just, right now, I just don't see it. I see a guy that probably fits more of a number 2 receiver role with his production.
Fair. I mean, that is fair. I think the ability is there. Whether he gets there or not is certainly another question, and I think that's kind of where you are in this. Because I said last year that he was more on a Corey Davis trajectory than an A.J. Brown trajectory in his career.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think physically, I think he's a physically more gifted receiver than Corey Davis was, which to me would indicate that he could take it to another level if he could just, 1, stay healthy, and 2, stay focused.
Okay, what's your let's just keep with this theme. Tajay Spears, what's your write-up on him so far?
Like what I've seen from him so far, I mean, obviously he's kind of caddying for Derrick Henry in the way this team is built, but he does give them a nice weapon that can be used both in the run game and the pass game. I think you'll probably end up seeing more and more of that package where he and Henry are on the field together. Now, he may not be your move the chains guy in the pass game like they've tried to use him as on a couple of occasions. Now that Kyle Phillips is back, those balls may start going more to Kyle Phillips. But I think Tajay Spears is a guy who can certainly be an effective weapon for this offense and give them something that they haven't had in a while in terms of a guy who's got an extra gear at the running back position.
This is my opinion. Tell me what you think. If Derrick Henry wasn't on this team, he would be their RB1. Period.
Oh,
he would be their. He would be their guy.
About it. And
their workhorse.
He very well could be that next year. He very well could be their starting running back next year because we all know Derrick's contract status is up at the end of the year, and there's no guarantees that the Titans will bring him back. And it would be interesting because one thing that they have to weigh with Derrick is this. Would they let him walk away if he was, say, 400 yards short of breaking Eddie George's franchise record for yards by a running back? Now, it's a business. You can't play, the sentimental card. You can't do the things, you can't let your heart guide you as opposed to letting your head guide you when you make these types of decisions. But this is Derrick Henry we're talking about, and he's still a guy who's a very productive player and capable of playing at a high level, and a guy that you built your offense around for the last 5 or 6 years.
I agree with you 100%. I would not want to be Rand Carthon or Mike Vrabel in the offseason because I do think because there's also the other component. Okay, for record books, guy that possibly could go to Canton, right, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The other part is he's the most popular guy on your team. He sells tickets. That's the other element to this. He's the most popular guy on the team. So I would not want to have to make that decision, because that's why I'm bringing it up. Like, I think it's pretty clear. One, they see it too. When Mike Vrabel talks, you're there. When Mike Vrabel talks about Tajay Spears, for a Mike Vrabel level, that's about as close to drooling as you'll ever get out of Mike Vrabel, because he doesn't really go too over the top. You can tell he wants to really talk about this kid. It's clear they really, really see a ton of potential in him. But I think you've got this, this elephant in the room, pardon the pun there, and Derrick Henry that's got, the most popular guy on the team. He sells tickets. And, oh, by the way, maybe a future Hall of Famer, and maybe on his way to breaking all the records you have in your franchise's history when it comes to rushing.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's going to be a tough call. And if Derrick Henry is still producing at a high level, I don't see any way you can let him go this off season. I mean, I think it would be, like you said, a mutiny in the fan base. With a lot of the fans to say, why are they letting Derrick Henry go? And maybe that's why, if they get into that situation, I could see them applying the franchise tag to Derrick Henry and keeping him for another year.
Terry, I wanted to ask you, one thing we have talked about quite a bit with you on this program, because you pay closer attention to it than most, is the position of kicker. And we don't have to talk about that anymore. We are solid and good to go with what you've seen out of Nick Folk here. And we haven't had to chat about that long field goal in the first quarter, but he went out and bombed one from 53, and it had plenty of leg left. What have you seen personally and up close that you've noticed about him?
Well, I think, he's been an answer to their prayers in terms of the way they've gone about handling the kicker position over the last 4 or 5 years, ever since they released Ryan Suckup after he was injured. Folk has been exactly what the doctor ordered in terms of that, because he's been very reliable. His leg appears to be maybe stronger than they thought, because he's doing the kickoff chores, and he's had a decent touchback percentage, and that was a big question coming in. And I think that, for a guy who's going to be 39 next month, he's become a very valuable guy on this team, because, as you know, most times, the last couple of weeks notwithstanding, they're involved in close games, in one-score games. And, the difference in Nick Folk and Randy Bullock is, like you said, that 53-yard field goal, they would have probably never even attempted that with Randy Bullock last year, because that was just a little bit outside his range. About 49 or 50 was probably all you were going to get from Randy Bullock on his best day. Nick Folk is certainly an upgrade there, guys. And to me, he's been exactly what they've needed at that position, and they were very fortunate that they were able to get him.
Are you surprised of how well the Colts have done this season, turning our attention to Indianapolis? Or are you surprised that they're 2-2?
Yes, quite frankly, yes. They defeated the Jaguars. They took the Rams into overtime last week after being down, I think it was 23-0 or something like that.
Went to Baltimore and beat the Ravens.
Yeah, it's interesting, what this team has been able to do, operating most of the time with a rookie quarterback in Anthony Richardson, and what you're going to get in a rookie quarterback. You're going to get, with a guy of his talent, you're going to get high highs, but you're going to get low lows because he's a rookie. And so if you're the Titans, you have to hope that the low lows show up on Sunday as opposed to the high highs. And to me, this Colts team, maybe they're a little like the Texans too. Maybe with the way these two rookie quarterbacks are playing, if they can still manage to, if they can get a little more consistent over the course of the season, the rebuilding projects that we thought both of these teams were going to be, and that they were going to be probably 2 to 3 years away, may be able to speed that up quite a bit.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see, especially as Jonathan Taylor comes back to the team. And he spoke to the media today. You want to talk about a bizarre situation. Terry, Bud Adams never got this involved in the day-to-day operations of the Titans to this extent like this. When you see what's going on in Indianapolis, is there any part of you that goes, it wouldn't be so bad if the owner spoke out a little bit more, but maybe not to the extent of Mr. Irsay. But, they play it a little differently up there in Indianapolis as far as how involved the media can be and how much of a circus it becomes.
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember, I'm a Yankees fan, so I lived through the George Steinbrenner years. I'm used to meddling owners. I wish the current Yankee owner would meddle a little more.
Yeah, but they won World Series. They haven't won anything under Jim Irsay. Well, I guess that's not true. They have.
They won a Super Bowl.
They won a couple of Super Bowls. Peyton won them one.
He did.
Yeah. So, but they play things a little differently there as far as the team is involved, and I guess there's dysfunction perhaps there within the organization, but it doesn't seem to slow them down. The Colts are very unique in the way that they do their business.
Yeah, they are. But, there is that dysfunction. But, up until the last 4 or 5 years when they, went through, Phillip Rivers and Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan and whoever else you maybe can think of, and now they're trying to, turn Richardson into a franchise quarterback. You got to remember, one thing that overcomes a lot of dysfunction is having a standout quarterback. And for nearly 2 decades, they had Peyton Manning and followed by Andrew Luck after a 1-year hiatus where they went with what was the guy's name that was quarterback the 1 year they won like 3 games.
You talking about Carson Wentz?
No. The guy between Manning and Luck.
From NC State, the quarterback. I can see him. I just can't remember his name right now. But yeah,
that's
I understand.
It wasn't Brissett?
Jacoby Brissett.
It was Jacoby Brissett?
No, not Jacoby Brissett. There was one guy the year that they
when they sucked for Luck.
Got the first pick and drafted Andrew Luck.
Yeah, when they sucked for Luck.
All right.
So, nonetheless, that's what I'm saying. There's been, up until Andrew Luck suddenly retired, there was mostly continuity at the quarterback position. Having continuity and having a superstar at the quarterback position, that cures a lot of ills on a football team. No matter how much meddling the owner might do, no matter what's available at the other positions, when you're good at the quarterback position in the NFL, you can contend, and that's what the Colts have done, and that's what they very well could be on the verge of doing again if Anthony Richardson pans out.
All right, Terry, last question from me, and that is something that has been out of sight and out of mind for the last month of the season that at any point could become the only thing that we talk about. What have you seen, heard from your observations about the health and status and development of Will Levis? Because we have not had to talk about it. We've had Ryan Tannehill for the last 4 games. Malik Willis was the established backup. What have you heard about the status and health and progression of Will Levis?
Well, it's something that not a lot of people have talked about, not a lot of people have asked about, to be honest with you. I think, they still probably regard Will Levis as the future of this franchise. You don't trade up to the top of the second round and trade a guy that you had a first-round grade on. You don't do that unless you're banking on that guy becoming your guy sometime down the road. I think a lot of what will or won't happen with Levis is this. If the Titans stay in contention in the AFC South, which is certainly possible given that the entire division is kind of mediocre, and as long as Ryan Tannehill stays healthy, I don't think you'll see or hear much from Will Levis. Now, if Tannehill were to be injured and miss a significant amount of time, then I think that's when you'll start to see Will Levis come into play. And I had this discussion with another one of the beat writers today. We were talking a little bit about Levis and all, and I said, that he was saying, that he still remains the third-string quarterback. And I said, that's okay, because here's the thing. This is just my opinion, but if Ryan Tannehill were to get knocked out of a game and you needed somebody to come in and finish up and then maybe start 1 week while he heals, I think you'd rather have Malik Willis do that simply for the fact that you've seen him. He has some game experience. You tailor a game plan to him. He gets you through, and you try to figure out a way to win, kind of back in the same situation you were last year with hopefully him being much improved over what he was, and he shows you more maybe of what he was in the preseason rather than what he was in 2022. If Tannehill were to have an injury that cost him multiple weeks, if it cost him a month or 6 weeks or the season, that's when I think you'd have to seriously consider turning it over to Will Levis just to see what you have, to see if he can be your franchise quarterback, if he shows you enough that he could be the guy going forward. Because otherwise, if he can't, then you got to go back into the draft next year thinking you got to look at another quarterback.
How do you think it's going to play out on Sundays? We wrap this up.
I think it'll be a close game. The Titans are a slight favorite. They've kind of had the Colts number over the last 3 or 4 years in terms of being able to dominate them. I think they should win unless they let Richardson get loose and make a couple of big off-schedule plays.
All right, Terry. Appreciate it as always. Thanks for the visit. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com is where you can find his work. We are wide open the rest of the hour. If you want to get involved in the show, 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. More of the McFarland Show coming up next.
Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is at the heart of Music City. Located within walking distance of the Country Music Hall of Fame, Bar Lines at the Omni is your downtown honky-tonk destination. Watch your team from any seat on their plentiful HD TVs and catch a live show on the Bar Lines stage featuring live music 7 days a week. Bar Lines has the ultimate Southern comfort food. Get started with classic fried green tomatoes or bourbon barbecue wings. Then it's on to the massive Smashville double stack or the world famous Bar Lines grinder. Oh, you've never heard of the Bar Lines grinder? 2 kinds of cheese, lettuce, Dijon, smoked turkey, smoked bacon, smoked ham. Now that's some smoke you want. Local brews and local spirits are on tap at Bar Lines. Take a seat on the patio outside and soak up the rhythm of Music City. Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the ultra-smooth, ultra-powerful iPhone 11 for $49.99.
He didn't stutter.
See every angle with dual cameras.
Make it a double.
All on America's largest 5G networks.
Large and in charge, baby.
Get with the power of Boost and get the iPhone 11 for $49.99.
That's half a Benjamin.
Boost Mobile.
Unleash your power.
ID verification required. New customers only, get 1 per line. Additional restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com for details.
Welcome back to Total Wine. What brings you in today?
Hey, Ruthie. I need help filling the ultimate beach cooler.
Well, we have the most hard seltzers and amazing canned cocktails anywhere, like High Noon, Cutwater, White Claw, Truly, Topo Chico, Jack Daniels & Coke, Neutral Vodka Seltzer, and Cayman Jack Zero Sugar Margarita in cans.
Wow. I'm going to be the king of the cooler.
And we have them at the lowest prices in town. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, be 21.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way. Offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
5-state forecast.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Skyscan forecast. Today's going to be mostly cloudy with a couple of afternoon showers, a high 82. Clouds and showers tonight, low 64. Mixed clouds and sun with a couple of showers Friday, the high 78. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
I wanted to say I love the show. Tune in regularly. Really enjoy the show. Enjoy the morning show. Enjoy College Guy. Yeah.
You said the college guy,
The college
and we immediately
guy.
were like, oh, yeah.
We love Bill.
Also, I think I need to owe Greg Pogue an apology from this morning. I said screw you to him about hating on my Cubbies, and I put an LOL joking in there.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
The McFarland Show. Video streaming live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube from the Strike and Spare studio.
Appreciate Terry McCormick as always. Michigan down in the borough.
All right.
Has weighed in on the text line and said, what about Curtis Painter
Possibly.
from Purdue? That's could
Possibly.
be right. That
Possibly.
could be right.
I still think I thought it was Jacoby Brissett, but apparently Brissett must have come in right after Luck.
I guess so. Yeah,
he was
I think that's
he was
right.
the guy right
There's
after
the backup.
Luck.
Well, I
yeah.
think he was the backup.
He
to
was
Luck.
the backup. So
Luck
when
was
Luck
hurt.
Yeah, retired suddenly.
Yes.
You know, it was.
That's true.
They were trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it wasn't Brissett.
Okay.
I think once I said it out loud and then I thought about it, I was like, yeah, he was there when Luck was there.
Yeah.
We're talking about the gap between Peyton and the sucking for Luck. When Peyton was out for the year.
Yeah, with the neck injury.
So he had the neck surgery.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It may be Curtis Painter.
Could be.
615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. Let's go down to Columbia. Nate is up first. Nate, welcome in.
Hey, Nate.
What's up, guys? Y'all know it's funny. I was a big Colts fan when Peyton was playing, and the only time I got to go to a Colts game was that season when his neck was all messed up. So that kind of sucked, but because I didn't get to see him play live. But, yeah, it was a fun game.
You never got to see Peyton play live?
No.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, and he was my favorite player because he went to Tennessee. So.
You've met me, Nate. You know I'm not exactly a horse jockey, but I'll just tell you this: the times that the Colts would come to town and I would have to go to the Colts locker room. One time, I remember walking in right behind Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning like in cleats and with shoulder pads.
Yeah.
He was like a giraffe, man. He was huge. Again, he towered over me.
And his long features.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I was just like dumbfounded, like how big he was.
Yeah.
Well, is it kind of compared to Pekka on skates?
Yeah. But different because Peyton filled it out. Like Pekka was, more.
He's leaner.
Yeah. Peyton was actually just. Again, I'm not a horse jockey. I'm right under, just a smidge under 6'4" and like 250. And he towered over me. It made me look small.
But before, I got on that little soapbox, did y'all watch any of the MTSU game last night?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. My phone was blowing up from MTSU fans. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to do something about this replay system. I know we've been screaming about this for years, but when it's obvious targeting and you're taking 5 minutes to, I guess, confirm that's targeting, what are y'all doing? Because, the analyst said they're taking so long because they're going through all their checks. Well, the guy got hit in the head. That's it.
Are you talking about the Kellen Stewart play, the one where he got hurt? Is that what you're talking about?
In the end zone, where the MTSU guy got thrown out.
So no, he's not.
Oh no. Okay, so
yeah, that's not the Kellen Stewart
injury.
injury.
Okay, gotcha.
But it was a physical game last night.
It was.
And like I said, you didn't need to see it maybe once or twice to see that I was targeting, and they looked at it for a good 5 minutes, and that's what keeps dragging these games out.
Okay, I don't want to change the subject because I'm not changing the subject. I'm going to keep it with MTSU, and I'm not avoiding what you're saying because you're right. It does need to get better, and last night was silly, but I got to be honest, Nate. I'm glad you called because you're an MTSU grad, and
Yes,
you haven't brought up like what transpired last night in the second half of that game, which was an absolute, just splatter show. Okay, it was one of the worst halves I think I've ever seen from MTSU since Rick Stockstill's been there, and that's been like 2 decades.
I turned it off at the end of the third quarter.
Okay, so how do you feel as an MTSU guy? You know, they're 1-5, and they were up 23-7, and the wheels came off.
I really don't know, just because I don't follow them as closely as I probably should.
So you're not really invested in MTSU football. That's the vibe I'm getting. Is that fair?
Not too much. We did go to the homecoming game at Colorado State, and it was fun and everything. It was a really good game, but I don't get back to campus much, and I really should, but I just don't.
Okay, because I was actually proud of a lot of MTSU fans last night because I was tweeting some stuff and I was getting a lot of responses, and I was also getting personal texts from MTSU fans that I know that either live here. I've even got MTSU grads that live in Dallas and other places, and I got to be honest, the reason I was proud is because they actually showed a pulse last night, and I'm not proud that they were mad, but I am proud that they were mad because at least they care. And I have felt for a long time that there just weren't enough people that cared. And last night I kind of felt, there was a lot of venom last night. There were a lot of angry Blue Raider fans last night. And again, I understand it. I know why they felt that way. I was also happy that they felt that way because it means they at least care. And that was a bad second half, man. It was. I don't know how you sugarcoat it. I don't know how you tiptoe around it. That was just a bad half of football.
Do you think they're going to win another game this year?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think they will. I think they'll win another game. I don't think they're going to be 1-11.
I haven't looked at their schedule.
I don't think they're going to be 1-11, Nate. But they're not going to achieve a lot of the goals I think they set out to. And again, I point to this, and we've seen other teams go through this as well. I think when they started off with 2 SEC opponents at the start of the year, that takes a lot out of your football team physically and emotionally, I think. And I know these were money games. I understand they weren't expected to win these games. I get it. But that puts you in 0-2 out the gate. And, and now you've got, and by the way, you're getting SEC guys leaning on you, hitting you, going through all that, and you're a little bit out of your weight class, and that's not a knock against MTSU, who beat Miami a couple of years ago. Okay, so it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility, but I'm just saying you're not doing yourself a whole lot of favor playing those kind of games to open your schedule.
Well, they housed Miami last year.
Yes, again, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying that beating Miami once is great, but trying to open up the season against Alabama and Missouri is something different.
Well, I think where they're upset is, one, you asked, is Western Kentucky a rivalry game? Nate, that's what Justin asked me. You're an MTSU grad. Is Western Kentucky a rivalry game?
You tell me. There's a Twitter account called 100 Miles of Hate.
Okay, that's what I said. So I think they've lost now 5 in a row. That game really wasn't that. They had the touchdown called back at the beginning of the game, and then just things kind of, again, got away from them. They weren't even – the problem is you weren't even close in that game. You're up 23-7 at the half last night at home, and you get housed. And Jacksonville State's good.
They are.
I'll
Rich
grant
Rodriguez
you that.
and those
Rich
guys,
Rodriguez, he's got it going on. They're 5-1.
Yeah.
But, man, I don't know. I don't know if they'll win another game. I've got their schedule now. They will. They'll.
They're gonna win another game.
They got La Tech, they got Liberty, they got New Mexico State, FIU, UTEP, and Sam Houston. So there's some wins in there, but again, I just kind of felt the wrath of a lot of MTSU fans last night, and I was actually happy that they were mad because it means that they cared. That's all. And by the way, I hope
Yeah,
Kellen
well-
Stewart is all right.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I haven't heard anything, but I heard they made it to the hospital all right last night.
Yeah. Nate, thanks for the call as always, man.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. We will come back and we will wrap up the first hour of the McFarland Show. We'll do that next.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
When you've experienced the loss of a loved one, you can trust SAG Funeral Home to guide you through the process of honoring their life. At SAG Funeral Home, they pride themselves in serving families in Nashville and surrounding areas with dignity, respect, and compassion. The staff is experienced in a variety of funeral services and can help you celebrate your loved one, no matter your religion, culture, or budget. Family and veteran-owned funeral home and cremations now are handled all in one location. We'll help create a personalized experience to pay tribute to your loved one's unique life. Ask about the pre-planning service as well. SAG Funeral Home, serving Nashville and Middle Tennessee for over 40 years. In your time of need, you need someone you can trust who can provide comfort to your family in a very professional way. SAG Funeral Home, 1503 Buchanan Street. Call today, 615-244-5044. 615-244-5044. SAG Funeral Home, for comfort and care in your time of need. SAG Funeral Home, proud sponsor of TSU football on WNSR.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-898-6155 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-898-6155. That's 800-898-6155. What do you have to lose? Call 800-898-6155. Again, 800-898-6155.
And now, Green Quality Painting LLC is reminding Americans to show support for the brave men and women who serve our U.S. military. Please visit DAV.org and consider donating to the disabled U.S. veterans who need our help. This message is brought to you by Green Quality Painting LLC, serving Clarksville, Nashville, and the surrounding areas with several years of experience. For all your residential or commercial painting and staining needs, give the pros a call today at 385-261-6543. 385-261-6543. That's Green Quality Painting LLC. They're professionals who care.
Jim Rome is here weekdays 11 to 2 on Nashville Sports Radio, WNSR.
Give the show a couple of weeks. You're not going to like it. Nobody likes this show the first time they heard it. My wife hated the show. I married her. Give it 2 weeks. If after 2 weeks you can honestly say to me, you know what? I listened to every day for 2 weeks, and the truth is, I hate you more now than I did the first day. Then I'm going to be man enough to say to you, you know what? You probably aren't that smart.
Jim Rome, 11 to 2 on Nashville's original sports radio, WNSR.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
We go from one MTSU grad to another. Let's go down to the boroughs. Michigan is on the line. Michigan, what's up?
Good afternoon, guys. Not the greatest of starts to my vacation from work last night to be out at Johnny Red Floyd Stadium in Murfreesboro. And Nate covered a lot of ground that I don't really need to cover because it would be redundant. Here's all I want to say. The athletic department of this university has spent a lot of time talking about what they would like to build, right? The Build Blue program.
Yep.
Again, full disclosure, I'm a member of the BRAA. I'm not going to stop giving, to the university tomorrow. It's my alma mater. And my 16-year-old son is, despite my best intentions, probably going to end up going there. So, they've got a lot of my money as I get closer and closer to, returning to the ground.
And your time.
Here.
They've got your time.
And
too.
my time, a lot of my time. But there is a delta, a gap, if you will, between the university's, vocabulary of how they see the athletic program and the results that I see. And I'm really just speaking specifically to football, right? Women's basketball program, excellent, right? Has been to the NCAA several times. Just put a very intriguing series of home dates on the calendar with the Lady Vols, which is going to be an amazing piece of kind of illumination for the quality of that program. Nick McDevitt's doing a great job with men's basketball. I am quick to remind everyone that as much money as I made on FAU in the men's tournament last year, the last game FAU lost before San Diego State walked them off was in Murfreesboro. I was there. I was in the 6th row. That was the last game FAU lost. They didn't lose again for almost 5 weeks. There is something I just think amiss about what the university wants the athletic program to be and what it is, right? You left the Sun Belt for Conference USA for some short-term financial gains and some short-term visibility. That has turned out to be a pretty bad decision. I would say the Sun Belt is leagues ahead of where Conference USA is right now in a variety of sports. It might get a little bit better when Kennesaw comes in. Maybe we add some other smaller schools. I loved what I saw at Jacksonville State last night. They've got a premium coach who's coached at the only university that means more to me than Middle Tennessee State does. He was in Ann Arbor. Didn't go great for him, but he was there. I just feel like something's amiss. And this isn't on Rick Stockstill. I think Rick's a great guy. He's a fine coach. But they're getting beaten soundly by teams that are coming into, FBS for the first time. The opener last year against James Madison. That team was meaner, tougher, larger, and faster than we were. And that was the same thing I saw last night against Jacksonville State. And that's really the concerning thing to me, is there's a distance between what the athletic program says it wants to be and where it currently is. And that's it. That's all I got, guys. I'm going to call in with some picks tomorrow because I'm on vacation and I can call in 2 days in a row.
Awesome.
Good talking to you.
Thank you, Michigan. I wanted to get his perspective. He is a guy that
without question,
he's blue through and through. He's true blue.
Oh yeah.
He's not only Michigan blue, but he's MTSU blue.
Yeah, and he's got a lot to say.
Yeah. And we'll get his picks tomorrow.
Yeah.
And again, we hope all our thoughts are with Kellen Stewart and hope everything is all right with him. We'll come back. Hour number 2 of the McFarland Show coming up next.
560 AM, 95.9 FM, Brentwood, Nashville, 107.9 FM, Smyrna, Nashville's first 24-hour sports station. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
ABC News, I'm Marina Roy. In New York City, Bronx prosecutors outlined charges following last month's death of a 1-year-old boy due to fentanyl exposure at a home daycare. 3 other children were also treated for fentanyl exposure. The daycare owner, her husband, and tenant are facing more than 20 counts, including murder and operating a drug business. Bronx District Attorney Darcel Clark.
We will get justice for them, and that is evidenced by the unsealing of the indictment today in court.
The daycare owner and tenant pleaded not guilty at their arraignment. House Republicans are at odds over choosing a new speaker following this week's vote to remove Kevin McCarthy. Representatives Jim Jordan, Steve Scalise, and Kevin Hern have emerged as contenders. The U.S. military shot down a Turkish drone in northeast Syria. U.S. officials say the drone was flying erratically and came too close to U.S. troops on the ground. This is ABC News.
Embarrassed by ugly yellow toe fungus?
Living with toe fungus it's embarrassing. I was afraid to take my socks off. I hid my yellow and crumbly toes from everybody.
Introducing Crystal Flush. Crystal Flush is the only FDA-registered 2-in-1 home treatment that attacks your toe fungus from both the inside and out. Crystal Flush's new and different combination system knocks out toe fungus for good. Guaranteed.
Crystal Flush is different. After just a few weeks, my fungus was gone. I mean, 100% disappeared. Crystal Flush was the only thing that ever worked. So if you're skeptical because you tried a bunch of other stuff, Crystal Flush is different. This is a game changer.
Crystal Flush is now available without a prescription, but it is not available in stores. Get your risk-free supply today. Go to crystalflush.com. That's CRYSTAL flush.com. Stop being embarrassed by ugly yellow toenails. Go to crystalflush.com or call 800-204-4484.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour of the McFarland Show here on this Thursday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a good day. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. Darren and Justin here with you. We are live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Don't forget, every day from 2 to 4, you can watch the show as well on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. The kids are doing it, so
yeah,
you should too.
The kids are doing a lot of things, so that shouldn't be the only criteria.
Well, I'm just saying the youth of America, they are very familiar.
No, I got you.
Especially with YouTube.
I hear you. No, I got you. But I'm just saying the kids are doing it. Shouldn't, don't let that be your guide.
No, true. Bill Keene is going to join us in about 15 minutes. We'll get into all things college football with him, including an important North Carolina player who has finally been cleared by the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get his thoughts on what took place down in Oxford, Mississippi after Ole Miss beat LSU. I don't know if you've seen you've seen the security guard, right? Like
yes.
Throwing elbows to people's necks.
I've seen that.
Did you see the fan run up on the LSU player?
No, I have not seen that.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Exactly. And then there's some really attractive matchups this weekend.
Okay.
As well.
All
so
right.
We'll talk to Bill here coming up soon. Titans are in Indianapolis on Sunday. I think this is a really, really tricky game, and I'm going to tell you why. And then we're going to hear from Nicholas Petit-Frere, who talked for a few minutes today to the media, who is back in the fold after the NFL decided to shorten his suspension from 6 games to 4 games. It's tricky because Indianapolis is better than any of us thought they were going to be. And that's 4 games. But right now, Anthony Richardson and the Colts are just way better than any of us thought they were going to be going into the season. We all thought it was going to be a division that was a 2-team race between Jacksonville and Tennessee. And that's not the case, at least through the first month of the season. Houston is even more surprising than Indianapolis, in my opinion, because Houston looked like it's more of a 2 to 3 year project, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Of getting this thing on track.
Yes.
They look to be way ahead of schedule right now with C.J. Stroud and what they're doing. C.J. Stroud is on pace right now to be the Rookie of the Year.
Yes. He is.
Okay, he has
been very impressive.
Been phenomenal. Indianapolis hasn't had their star running back because there's been all that weirdness with them and Jonathan Taylor. And now he's off the PUP list and looks like he may be scheduled to play. Yeah, what his workload will be, don't know. But it looks like there's a real shot Jonathan Taylor's going to suit up and play on Sunday against the Titans. Anthony Richardson is still very, very young. He's a rookie.
He is.
And he is looking way better than we thought, okay? There's just no way around that. And the Colts are 2-2, and they have won both games on the road, and they've lost both games at home. Are they going to keep losing home games? I suspect probably not.
No.
It's kind of a big deal in the NFL. You need to win your home games. That's exactly what the Titans have done, just the opposite.
Yes.
They're doing what you're supposed to do. They're winning their games at home. Unfortunately, they haven't found that road win yet. And so they haven't been the same team on the road. They've had all their success at home. Indianapolis has had all their success on the road, although they were down 23-0 to the Rams, and they came back and lost in overtime. Almost pulled that game out.
Almost.
So I think this is a really, really tricky game for the Titans because when I watch the Colts, I'm like, okay. Like, wow, okay. Do I think they're a great team? No. But when you've got a rookie quarterback that's doing things that they haven't had, think about what they've gone from.
Yes.
Okay? They've gone from Phillip Rivers to then Carson Wentz to then Matt Ryan. Now Anthony Richardson. What do those first three quarterbacks have in common? Justin?
The first three quarterbacks on your list there,
Don't say old white quarterbacks.
Well,
because they did have that in common, but they had something else in common.
They were all very good. They're going to the Hall of Fame.
Well, Carson Wentz is not. But
Carson Wentz is not. I'm sorry. Carson Wentz is not.
What are those three? They were not mobile guys. Fair?
Oh, no. They're pocket guys now, all the way.
They're just drop back and pass, right? They're going to
Yes.
stay in the pocket. They ain't going anywhere.
Yes.
Anthony Richardson is not that.
No, he's not. No,
And
he
so
gets on the
now,
move.
If he gets out of the pocket, you got to watch out because he's got the legs, he's got the arm, and he's not afraid to move around. And so now you've got a mobile quarterback with a big arm.
Yes.
And you may be getting your star running back. What is he going to look like? That we don't know. You're getting a star running back in the fold, too.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I think their defense is average. I think their receivers are average. I think their tight ends are average.
But superstar quarterback play.
There you go.
Covers up quite a bit.
Right. But they're exceeding their expectations when it comes to their quarterback. He is right now, way better than we thought he would be at this point.
Well, the question is, when is he going to start looking like a rookie? And again, last game, even though they won the game and good for them, he was 11-25. And there wasn't, 3 interceptions.
He's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. You're right. He's not perfect.
No. And there is a lot of growth there left to go. He's extremely young, but I'm just talking about this year for this game. I wonder when is he going to have that 4 interception game that every rookie quarterback has? And to my knowledge, he hasn't had that. And I don't know if he's just going to go a full season without getting one of those. And so could the Titans show up to the Yard on Sunday and get that version of him? Maybe. Maybe this is the team, they haven't had a whole lot of interceptions, this year that I can recall just as a football team. But they do get pressure on the quarterback, and sometimes they can force the quarterback to do unwise things with the football. So, and then again, the Titans are very schizo at this point. We don't know what version of them is showing up on Sunday. So, and that's the other reason to me why this game is tricky. Not so much what the Colts are doing, but which version of the Titans show up as well is what makes this game extremely difficult to try and figure out.
This is going to be the Colts' 3rd division game already.
Yeah.
They lost opening week against the Jags at home. Then they went to Houston and beat the Texans. And so this is going to be their 3rd division game. Of course, we know this is the Titans' first. And so they've got an opportunity if they can win this to that's a huge win because You know where I'm going with this. It doesn't count for double, but it kind of does,
Oh,
right?
no. Yes, it does.
It's more than
No,
just.
it does count for double. This is the division game. You
Yeah.
got to win if you can't win the division, you're probably not going to the playoffs, and you need to go at least 4-2 in your division, 5-1. That's what it takes to win the thing. And so, yeah, these division games are massive. You can lose to the Saints, and that's fine. But, you lose to the Colts, you lose to the Texans. Those are killers. So, no, they got to win this game. Both teams do.
Let's hear what Nicholas Petit-Friere had to say. A couple minutes of him talking to the media.
Extended, and for me to be able to be back with the team at a faster pace than I thought I was going to be. So I'm just happy to be back. I'm ready to work.
In terms of ramping up, did it change anything, though, because you were expected to be back at a certain time, and now you're back now?
No, I've been training the same way. I've been working my tail off as much as I can, conditioning, being in my pads, trying to find a way to get as close to being acclimated with the team as I can be.
Where have you been working out?
I was in Tampa for the first 3 weeks, and then the last week when I was able to be back, I came back here as soon as I could, and I was working out with the team from then.
Sorry to be repetitive. Does it seem unfair that they've changed the rules after you served more than what the suspension is now going to be?
I have nothing to say about how long I served or anything like that. I'm just happy to be back. I'm grateful that they were able to allow me to be back with the team, for me to be here, for me to be able to be back on the roster. That was the main thing. I wanted to be back here at practices. I wanted to be able to be out there running around with the guys, so I'm just happy about that.
How confident are you you'd be ready to be plugged in Sunday if they wanted to plug you right back in?
I mean, I'm just confident that I'm happy to be back here. I'm still reacclimating with the team. I'm doing everything I can to get myself as close to game ready as I can be, and that's going to be with me and the coaches just to figure out where I'm at, and then just for me to keep working and trying to be better.
So he's happy to be back
He's
here.
happy to be there.
He's happy to be back here.
That much is established. He's happy to be there. And, if you've gone through what he's gone through, I imagine you would be. So why not? But that was Nicholas Petit-Friere, who all indications are is probably going to play on Sunday as the Titans get set for the Colts in the I-65 series, as I call it, between these two teams. So, and the Colts, this is typically a physical game. Kevin Byard does a great job talking about it all the time. The rivalry between these two teams, and this is a game that does take a toll on both teams here. So they're going to need bodies. They're going to need people, whether they can play all game or just some of the game. They're going to need them as they get out there and get this. And again, I cannot underemphasize how important this game is as a division game for this football team. They got to win division games. This team is probably not going 13-4 and is going to get an automatic bid here. They need to win this division, and win the division means the winning division games, and this is one of 6 that if you're them, you need to have if you're going to have any success this season.
Do we have something on the Indianapolis side?
We do. We have Jim Bob Cooter. Now, Jim Bob Cooter, everybody, is the current offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. He was the longtime offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, quarterback coach. He even spent some time at the University of Tennessee. Back in the day, when UT was looking for a coach every 3 to 4 years, his name would always come up as a guy who was ready to go to the next level and become a head coach. He spent some time talking about the Titans as a defense. And based on what he says, he's got a lot of respect for what the Titans do on D.
A really big challenge up front, especially. They're a really good defense overall. They built it around a bunch of really good players up front that can impact the game in different ways, whether it's inside, whether it's on the edge. And it's not all pass rush stuff. Some of those clips of the run game, these guys are playing it really tough, setting the edge, playing physical inside, getting the O-line knocked back. So we got a challenge. We got a challenge in front of us here. This is a really good defense who is going to make it hard on us to run the ball, going to make it hard on us to sit in the pocket and protect. They built a really nice group here. And those guys are playing hard and playing good ball. So it's a challenge. It's across the line. There's a lot of good players on this Tennessee Titans defense. There's some excellent players in there, but it's not just going to be one guy where we have to sort of keep an eye on. It's 4 or 5 or 6 of them, man. There's a bunch of guys that can really play ball, rushing the passer, stopping the run, all that stuff.
So let me give some context to that with that. And they were asking him, of course, the Colts' last game was against Aaron Donald and the Los Angeles Rams, and they were asking about the comparison between, say, an Aaron Donald and a Jeffrey Simmons, and how much extra attention do you need to pay? And he was just saying that, well, it's not just Jeffrey Simmons that you have to pay attention to. It's a bunch of different guys is what he was trying to express in that particular soundbite there. And to me, it's always interesting to hear the outsider's perspective about the team that we watch every week, because we see them one way and another guy may say, well, he's pretty good. We're not going to sleep on them.
Or maybe think about the guy that used to play for the Indianapolis Colts, because he's going to be extra motivated.
Yeah, Tier Tart.
No, Denico Autry.
Denico Autry, not Tier Tart.
Who has been an unbelievable signing.
He has. Great
for
addition.
all the ones that we've talked about that missed, that one did not miss. That was a great signing.
Yeah, good pickup.
He's been fantastic. By the way, leads the team. Was he at 4 sacks already?
I believe so. Yeah.
He's been very
effective.
he's going to be motivated against Indianapolis.
Yeah.
They had the opportunity to sign him.
Yeah.
He was a free agent.
And they decided to move on.
Yep. So sure he was in part of that equation that what you were talking about. Like you have to pay attention to what Autry's doing. You cannot ignore him. If you do, you're in big trouble.
Well, he had a big game against them. Was it last year or the year before?
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple of pass deflections and a big sack at key moments. He seems to have a knack and maybe a little something in his tank to take them on as well. So, I mean, and that's not anything unusual when you look at what happened. So he'll be a player to watch for sure.
We'll come back. We'll talk with Bill Keene. Talk a little college football with him. Some great matchups this weekend. We'll do that next here on the McFarland Show.
1, 2, it's coming for you. 3, 4, you could win much more. 5, 6 on a scratch ticket. 7, 8, it's not too late. The new haunted Jumbo Bucks instant game. With a top prize of $75,000, it's a terrifyingly great way to celebrate Halloween. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Just remember to play responsibly. 9, 10, time to play again.
We all know that Nashville life can get hectic. In the middle of all the madness that is life, don't forget to take care of yourself. Treat yourself to Nashville's ultimate relaxation experience at Mocara Spa at the Omni Nashville Hotel. With services for men and women, Mocara Spa at the Omni Nashville Hotel is your one-stop shop for full-body treatment. Begin your experience in the exquisite relaxation room, then enjoy a full-body treatment or even a couples massage before finishing in the salon. Located on the 4th floor of the Omni Nashville Hotel, Mocara Spa is Nashville's highest quality self-care oasis. To book your experience or gain information on packages, call Mocara Spa today at 615-761-3600. Again, 615-761-3600. Or log on to theomnihotel.com. And with every booking, you'll have free valet parking and rooftop pool access to enjoy the Music City skyline. And through Labor Day, enjoy the 4th floor spa terrace for only $20. Mocara Spa at the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
Post-COVID travel is on a surge. Many of you are traveling for fun because you've been locked up for 2 years. Listen, whether you're traveling for fun to Italy, Greece, Spain, France, or somewhere else fun in the world, or USA, now is a great time to book before the crowds hit and save. Plus, with a strong U.S. dollar, you'll get more travel bang for your buck. Right now is a smart time to make your reservations and call low-cost airlines. With one phone call, you can let us do all the work for free. We'll shop hundreds of airlines, hotels, resorts, and give you a way to save huge money on your vacation plans. And if you call right now, we'll give you a free hotel room with a qualified travel purchase. So call right now.
800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. That's 800-704-1662.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Tennessee needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
This is the Greg Vogue and John Burton Show.
This is the first time I really think that Vrabel got totally outcoached by Stefanski and his staff.
There are a lot of questions about Stefanski and what kind of coach he is and what kind of an in-game adjuster he is, but I thought he did a fabulous job yesterday.
Once again, I just think they all got brain dead yesterday.
You know, I was really surprised how the Titans let that game get out of hand.
Greg Vogue and News Channel 5's John Burton, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Text the Strike and Spare studio now at 615-844-5600. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
You are. Thank you, big voice guy. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. Darren and Justin here live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. You can watch us every day on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We'll wave sometimes. Justin will salute you. You know, we get dressed up. We do. Want to look good here on the show. Another guy who looks and sounds good every day starting at 6 a.m. Bill Keene joins us. Bill, how we doing?
Hey, guys. What's up?
Remember last week when I asked you if you thought Auburn had a puncher's chance of beating Georgia because I felt like they did? After watching it, I think they did have a puncher's chance.
Yeah, Georgia got Auburn's best game to date, and they're going to be good. They're going to be a problem. Probably not enough firepower yet. But Georgia is now Alabama. They get everybody's best punch.
Yeah.
Georgia is the brand in college football right now. That's the South's oldest rivalry, so it makes sense. But Brock Bowers and your superstars took over. Brock Bowers is the best tight end to come out, guys. I thought Kyle Pitts a couple of years ago was the best tight end I'd seen in a while out of college. This kid's better.
He's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
He's unguardable. It just is.
Here's the thing, guys. Now think about this. Baseball, you call it a 5-tool guy, right? Here's Brock Bowers. He's 6'4", 235, so he's not the true tight end, 6'5", 250 guy, Travis Kelce or something like that kind of size. But he does everything. Now, Brock Bowers can catch a short pass, guys. This is a tight end now. And get in open green grass. And then if it gets tight, he's got another gear that he can just go to, a fifth gear or sixth gear that he can go to. If there's a pileup in front of him, he can bulldoze through them. I've never seen a tight end coming out of college now, guys, with all those tools.
Yeah, he is fun to watch. There's no doubt about it. I want to get your thoughts on what took place, LSU losing in Oxford to Ole Miss. The fans storming the field, which you knew would happen. But there's been a couple things that have come out on that. Everybody has seen the video of the security guard, right? Basically throwing elbows to people's necks and, chest and all that good stuff. And I'm sure you've seen the video, Bill, of the Ole Miss fan or Ole Miss fan who basically ran up to the LSU player. And this is the part where I don't know how you feel about this, but I do not think you have the right to do that stuff, and whatever happens, happens. Like, you cannot run up to the opposition and do whatever you want and not expect repercussions from it. And I know we can't condone violence, and I know we can't, but I just think, like, you can't do that crap, man. Like, you get what you get.
Yeah, I mean, now, whether or not it could be charged criminally, that's certainly a debate. But if you risk that, forget about the law. You risk getting hurt.
Yeah.
You're talking about dudes wired to be violent on the football field now. On the football field. That's their job, to be violent on the field. Game's over. They haven't flipped a switch, okay? And not only that, but you were up 49-40 with about 6-7 minutes to go, and you just lost.
Yeah.
That's not the time to challenge that dude.
No, it is not. That is called bad timing. I just think that these fans cannot be doing this stuff. Like, we've seen it. I get it. This is not, LeGarrette Blount, we all, right? There's been incidents where people have been punched, and I don't, again, condone violence, but again, if you're going to be that stupid to go up to it, and you just laid it out perfectly, Bill, you get what you get, and I don't feel bad for you.
Right. No, I get it.
How big is this news for Mac Brown and the Tar Heels getting this receiver back in the fold?
Big. He's their star. He was going to be their best receiver. He's a playmaker. You've got one of the first couple of picks in the draft throwing him the ball. That's big news, man. And they've played pretty well this year. You know, they opened the season beating South Carolina. They've had a good year so far. Defense has been a problem in the past. Their offense is their star side of the ball, but no, that's good news.
Let's go back to Georgia. They're hosting Kentucky down in Athens. I've been to Athens when Kentucky's played there, and I actually saw Kentucky beat Georgia. So amazing, right? But it probably tells you what time frame it was. What is Kentucky right now, Bill, in your mind? I mean, they're undefeated, but what are they?
They're a miniature version of Georgia. They're built foundationally similarly. Their style is similar. They're not going to chuck the ball all over the place and speed things up. They beat you in the trenches. They've got a feature running back. Matter of fact, their running back's probably better than what Georgia puts out there. Georgia's good at running back. Ray Davis obviously approached 300 yards last weekend in the Florida game. So they're very similar. It's going to be a phone booth game. This is if you like, I don't want to say Iowa, Wisconsin. It'll be more fun than that. But it's going to be a game where whoever can withstand bloody nose and bloody mouth and maybe a chipped tooth or something, is going to win the game. Georgia's got the better team. Georgia's got the better depth. Georgia's got the better recruiting rankings and all that, and that matters. And their new quarterback is playing very, very good as well. So Georgia ought to be favored by double digits, but I could see this game being close at halftime.
They're favored by 14.5. I was a little surprised by that number. It seems a little steep, but, it is in Athens.
And Devin Leary's playing pretty well. Probably not as good overall as I thought he would play, but, again, they're undefeated. And Carson Beck is playing very well. He's really coming into his own, grinding that Auburn game out in a very hostile territory on the road. It'll be a fun game, but all things even, Georgia's certainly solidly better.
Missouri's off to a 5-0 start as well, and I just think this is not a good time to get LSU. I know it's in Columbia, but my guess is if I was looking for a lock of the week to win a game, just a money line bet, I'm taking LSU and laying a ton because I cannot imagine after what just took place in Oxford and the expectations LSU had this season, they've already dropped 2 games, that they're going to Columbia, Missouri and losing to the Tigers. But they play the games for a reason, but I just don't see it. What about you?
Brian Kelly's very good in these situations. Now, the problem they have is their defense
is
collapsed.
Awful. Yes, it's awful.
It collapsed, and they've got pretty good personnel. They're really bad on the back end. The biggest problem they have is on the back end in the secondary. They brought Pete Jenkins a long time, Saban competent back over. He's been at LSU in the past. Pete's about 82 years old, but he's a defensive line 2-gap coach. He won't be able to fix anything in a week or two, but they brought him back in to help, and maybe they can get something solidified before the year's over. Now, this Missouri team, number one, Brady Cook, the quarterback, is playing about as well as anybody in the league at quarterback. They have a receiver named Luther Burden who starts for any team in America. Ohio State, Texas wide receiver core. He is a green grass matchup nightmare. Just a true sophomore, former 5-star recruit. They got a running back that's pushing 500 yards already on the season. This is a good team. This is Eli Drinkwitz's best team by far. Now, your point is it good enough? On paper, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, I like everything you said. I'm just saying, I just thought for purposes of what's happened to LSU, it's probably like the worst time in the world to get LSU. That's
situationally correct. Yeah.
All right, Bill. We spent a little bit of time earlier, and I'm going to totally take you out of the SEC here, and let's switch gears, which I know you're more than capable of doing, good sir. We spent a lot of time in our first hour talking about MTSU, and I want to start with this question for you. What do you make of Conference USA putting games on a Wednesday night just to try to get some eyeballs?
You know what? For me, being such a junkie, I liked it.
Me
because
too.
I just don't watch anything else. I'm not. I don't have a lot of other sports that I like, meaning outside of college football, college baseball, college basketball, like that. And so, to me, that was all that was on. I'm not watching the news channels. I'm not watching the Weather Channel. I'm watching that. Now, was I affixed to it like I was Saturday night when Notre Dame's trying to come back and beat Duke, or when Colorado and Southern Cal are battling it out earlier in the day, and it's Caleb Williams and Shadir Sanders? No, I'm not like glued in there. But it's my little comfort zone. When you're a kid, they give you a little blanket, right? That's what that was like for me.
Yeah, but that's you laid it out perfectly, Bill. Because if that's on Saturday, you're not watching that game, and neither am I. And you know what I watched last night? MTSU and Jacksonville State. If it's on Saturday, I don't give it a minute.
True. Yep. Same here.
And so now the part two of that question, Bill, is MTSU as a program right now. My thing is, Bill, they opened up the season against two SEC schools. And granted, they beat Miami last year, so I'm not saying they can't compete against them. I'm just saying that you don't do yourself a lot of favors when you set yourself up and are down 0-2 even before the season really gets going after two SEC teams have beat you up mentally and physically out there on the football field for a couple of weeks. And now you're in conference play and, you're giving up huge leads at halftime to teams within your conference here. And the wheels have seemed to just come off of the second half of the game last night. And a lot of people are now talking about whether or not this was really worth their time. That's the theme we've gotten from a couple of MTSU grads who've called us here, that they were disappointed about how this has happened, and they all love Coach Stock, but they wish things were a little better.
I get it. It's hard. Now, Jacksonville State's historically a good program. I did not expect that outcome, certainly the way it turned out. I just didn't. But it's a tough gig, and guys, not new news at all here, but MTSU, since the beginning of time, is a commuter school. Now, Wednesday night you're not commuting probably, but it's not a well-supported school when it comes to football. It just isn't. It probably never will be. It's a good place to go play. It's a good level. It's hard to get to that level that they play at there. But, yeah, and when you sacrifice a couple of games for the paycheck, which you have to do, sometimes it works in reverse. Just because you play somebody really good and get beat and get the paycheck doesn't mean it makes you better.
Boy, now there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot there. Okay, let's move away from there, Bill. So let's fulfill the contractual obligations here and talk about Deion Sanders in Colorado. A couple of L's. I'm no longer seeing Deion on television as much as I did a couple of weeks ago. I'm not saying the team is not any good. Clearly, they'll be back. They'll win a lot more ball games this year. They're probably a 75 or 8-4 team here. What has he been transformative for college football the way many people expected? I know he's got a lot of attention. It's been a splash, but is it really transformative? And if it is, how?
Unclear. Now, it's been a surprise, even though I was very much for this hire. I thought they'd probably win 3 games. But they're much better than that, as we can see. They may win, as you mentioned. They may go 7-5 or something, which would be an incredible year one for him with the transformation of that entire roster. But as far as the bigger picture, we just don't know. We've got to see the follow-through. And he says, look, you better get us now because this is as bad as we're going to be. And it's probably right, but it doesn't necessarily always work out that way. It does seem like Shadir Sanders, who's a first-round draft pick, is coming back, and that's big. And then Travis Hunter can't go anywhere. He's just a true sophomore. That's big. They're going to have a lot of firepower. They got to get better on defense, which we already knew, and in recruiting. But in the portal, they're going to be very attractive. And that's where we're going to find out, guys, how much further they can take this.
So guys watching from other schools right now saying, hey, I want to be part of that. What's going on out there in Colorado? And as soon as I can shake loose from here, I'm going there.
I would think there's a lot of that. Now, you're limited You're not limited the way you used to be. It used to be a 25 limit. You can catch up all the way you want. Doesn't matter what the number, as long as you don't exceed 85. That's about a 2-year-old rule. That's a brand new rule. That's also good for Deion, right? Because if not, he wouldn't have been able to run that roster off like he did a year ago under the rule that we lived under for a million years.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, and recruits, Boo Carter, who's a heck of a player, receiver, kick returner out of the Chattanooga area, committed to Tennessee, a 4-star. 2 weeks ago, he took a visit to Colorado. I mean, they go all over the planet for kids.
Yeah, and they have a very wide net there. Last but not least for me, Bill, I want to chat about Tennessee. And obviously, they got back on the winning track here and all of that. And there's a lot of questions about how well Joe Milton can play. And, his numbers weren't out of the water good last Saturday. But then again, they didn't have to be in order to win that particular game. The defense played extremely well. And, Bill, we brought this up to Vince Ferrar. The defense doesn't get a lot of attention, but there are actually some guys over there who can really play, and I think they're actually maybe a little better than last year.
I think they are. They're still bad on the backside. Secondary is still a big
yes,
problem.
well, the front seven. Yes, sir.
Yeah, front seven, though, is good. Aaron Beasley has been a fantastic player. Arion Carter from over there at Smyrna is going to be a wonderful player, and already is flashing. And the Herring kid, the one playing linebacker who starts number 44, he's playing well. They have more depth on the defensive line. This Davion Hobbs, a true freshman out of North Carolina, big name recruit, he's rotating, so they can be more liberal in their rotation up front. The only thing that got me, guys, is they got physically crunched at Florida, which the more games we play, the more confusing that game gets, right? And I question their want to in that game. That's what my one part that I'm not sure what went down, but I needed to see better effort than that. Now, since then, guys, they've done it, and maybe they'll just be that one night. But, yes, and they've got a kid who's a true sophomore who's 6'5", about 245, number 27, the Pierce kid, James Pierce out of North Carolina, who's really coming on. And they say that if he keeps going, he could be another. Now, I don't want to get anybody too excited, but he could be a player that has a game like Leonard Little.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wow. Bring up those names.
Quickly, the Red River rivalry.
Yep.
Not the shootout anymore. Oklahoma, Texas. Is Texas one of the best 4 teams in the country?
I think so right now. Yeah, I think so. If we just said stop it today, I'd have them in.
Okay.
Now, this game, to me, is about Oklahoma. Oklahoma looks good. Everything about them looks good, but they haven't played anybody, I think we've used this term, right, who can fog a mirror, right? I got to see somebody who can fight back. And Texas has dudes, right? They got the quarterback, they got the receiving core, they got the running back, they got the lines of scrimmage. And they're favored by what, guys? I think about 5.5.
Yep.
That's about right. But I'm measuring at the moment Oklahoma in this game more than Texas. I think that we have Texas figured out.
Okay. Good stuff, as always. Appreciate the visit. Look forward to hearing you starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Bill Keane, 6 to 9 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday, here on these airwaves. And good stuff from him, as always. We are wide open the rest of the hour. If you want to get involved in the show, you can do so. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. More of the McFarland Show next.
When you want down-home cooking, just head downtown. Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel serves traditional Southern cooking, sourced fresh and local, just like Grandma used to make. Start your day with a Southern smoked breakfast bowl or a Music City omelet. If you're looking for variety, hit the biggest breakfast buffet in Music City or get your fill at the world-famous Biscuit Bar. Kitchen Notes dishes up lunch with traditional Southern tomato pie, country ham, and classic picnic ambrosia. Serving breakfast Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 10:30, and lunch is served 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Kitchen Notes doesn't forget the brunch crowd. Brunch at Kitchen Notes is every Friday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., featuring cast iron pancakes, made-to-order waffles and eggs, and ice-cold carafes of mimosas. Enjoy farm-to-table Southern dishes made from treasured family recipes. Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
I've got a unique vacation idea for you that's right here in the United States. If you're ready for a vacation that's fun and downright affordable, listen up. It's driving distance for many of you, so no planes, no airline delays, no hassles. It's Branson, Missouri, the entertainment capital of the Midwest. Live music for everyone. Branson has 3 beautiful, enormous lakes, water attractions, live shows, great food, and tons of entertainment. It's a perfect vacation for you and your family, or if you're retired and you want to have a great time. And you can stay in Branson for as low as $99 a night. Please understand, this is not a timeshare offer. It's a real vacation for as little as $99 a night. We've got a free vacation guide we want to send you right now. All you have to do is call for complete details. Get your free Branson, Missouri guide right now by calling this number.
800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. That's 800-413-3953.
In a single moment, everything can change. When a player's sudden cardiac event brought a national football game to a halt, it shone a spotlight on the importance of CPR readiness. Now, with youth sports in full swing, the American Heart Association is rallying parents and coaches to be ready in an emergency. To be ready, learn hands-only CPR. It's a skill anyone can learn in minutes. Visit heart.org/hands-only-CPR and become a lifesaver today.
The Braves are National League East champs, locking up their 6th straight division crown.
Ready with a 2-2. Here it comes. Got him swinging, strike 3. And the Braves are National League East champions for the 6th year in a row.
For the 6th straight season, the Braves are kings of the East. We'll bring you every pitch of the postseason as Atlanta makes a run at the Fall Classic.
Exclusively on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
(615-844-5600) is the phone line and the text line to be involved in the show. Fairview at Independence will be the high school game of the week tomorrow night. Coverage will begin at 6:45 p.m. tomorrow evening. Fairview at Independence. Joe Fisher, Jonathan Schaefer on the call.
You know, the NFL season kicks off here this weekend, or kicks off tonight, rather, with the Chicago Bears against the Washington Commanders. I'm sure everyone is sitting on the edge of their seat for that one.
This should be a color rush game.
Yeah,
it is. Wow.
Wow. You know what?
You know?
And I bet you it will be. And won't that be an interesting clash? That orange of Chicago and that maroon of Washington out there running around at that beautiful facility known as FedEx Field there in Landover. But there are a couple of other games that are going to get some attention coming up here this weekend. Of course, some of the 2-2 matchups that are out there are must wins for some of these teams out here. Texans and Falcons are both 2-2. Titans and Colts are both 2-2. So you got some interesting matchups there. Ravens at 3-1 against the Steelers at 2-2. But the one that's gotten my attention, and of course Cowboys and 49ers, a big one on Sunday night. The one that's got my attention, though, is the Jets and the Broncos. Now, why would 2 1-3 teams get my attention? Well, it's because of who is coaching for the Jets, and that is one Nathaniel Hackett. Now, for those of you who may remember, before the season got going, Sean Payton, the current coach of the Denver Broncos, got in the front of the media and started talking quite a bit.
He nuked Nathaniel Hackett.
About Nathaniel Hackett, who was the previous coach there for the Broncos, and talked about how bad everything was and how much of a disaster this whole thing was and how many things he had to fix when he got in the door and the culture and all this other kind of thing. Well, so far it hasn't worked out so well for Sean Payton and Russell Wilson and the 1-3 Denver Broncos, who got 70 dropped on them by the Miami Dolphins like they were a college football laugh-off team, like they were Rice versus Texas on the field. And so now they're going to have to face each other on the field here. Nathaniel Hackett and the New York Jets, whose season has not gone according to plan either, taking on the Denver Broncos. And I know there is some bad blood and some feelings, and, if you're pardon the expression, but people feel some kind of way about each other in that particular matchup there. So that is the post-game handshake is going to be interesting to watch. The little mannerisms and play calling and things like that. It's just interesting. It's just something to watch out of the corner of your eye on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, I believe if they had Aaron Rodgers, Nathaniel Hackett would try to hang 70 on Denver again.
Yeah, probably so.
But I don't think that's going to happen in this game.
Not with the weapons they currently have, no. But they want to win this one pretty bad, I would imagine. And Nathaniel Hackett, I don't know if he stays in the booth or if he comes down on the field. But I tell you what, if they win that game, I think he might be down on the field a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to look for Sean Payton or anything, but I think it's bulletin board material to be sure in the Jets locker room this weekend.
The question is, can Zach Wilson look like an NFL quarterback 2 weeks in a row? Because he did last week.
Wow.
On, what was it, Sunday night? Sunday night. Can he follow it up and continue to get better? That's what everybody wants to know. Because if he reverts back to the old Zach Wilson, that basically what we've grown accustomed to until this past Sunday night, I could see the Jets losing the game. He's just not very good. But if he looks like he did Sunday night, I suspect the Jets will win pretty easily.
Yeah.
I really do, because Denver's not very good.
He's been very inconsistent. He's been inconsistent since, he's been on the team. He's been in the league. He's been inconsistent.
Immature, too.
Immature at times.
And immature.
Well, he's not been mature that we've seen this year.
Nope.
It's been more of the inconsistency.
Last year was bad.
Last year. But, listen, again, these young men are exactly that. They're young men. At 22 and 23 years old. He's not 28. He's not 29. I give a little bit more grace in that particular area because I remember very clearly what it's like to be 21, 22, and 23. And, your mind is not fully there the way it should be, the way it is when you're much older. And not to say we should just give everything a pass. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying that on that particular level, I've always been a little bit more merciful on decisions and maturity because no, they're not mature. They're 21. No, they're not mature. They're 22. No, they're not, because these are very young men who've had the whole world given to them, and they've got a lot of money, and they haven't experienced a whole lot of life or had somebody slap them in the mouth enough to know what you should or should not do at that particular moment. But they get there, and here's one thing, as we transition, Darren, there's one thing I did finish recently that we haven't had a chance to talk about, and that is the Johnny Manziel documentary on Netflix. I finally finished that a few days ago. I've been watching it in pieces, and just to even look at him and the fact that he didn't bother to read the playbook while with the Cleveland Browns, how disrespectful is that to the National Football League that you were just going to roll out there and be Johnny Football on Sundays? Again, that is a thing where you are not mature and are not mature enough to handle all the things that have been given to you in that particular moment. Would he do it differently now at 29, 30? Probably. The problem is you're not the same kind of athlete at 29, 30 that you were at 22, 23, and 24. So maturity plays a lot into it. There's no question about it. But you got to find the right mix. And, Johnny Football didn't have it. Does Zach Wilson have it? Well, only time will tell on that. He seemed to have grown up off the field. The on-the-field work still needs a lot of growth left for him.
Yep. Again, we'll see. That will be an interesting game. As interesting as you could possibly have a matchup
between
of
1 and 3 teams. Yes,
1 and 3 teams. Yeah, no question. By the way, when you asked Bill about them MTSU playing last night, were you asking because you are not in favor of Wednesday night games?
I'm fine with it. I'm interested because Bill thinks about college football from every single aspect possible. So I'm interested in asking him that question from the aspect of, is this what Conference USA has to do in order to get some eyeballs? Is this a desperation move by them just to try to get some attention at this particular moment? I'm not blaming the school. I'm not blaming MTSU or Jacksonville State. I'm talking about as a conference for Conference USA putting games on Wednesday night.
I think it's a great idea.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it per se. I just wonder, was there a tipping point? Was there something, a conversation? Bill hears all kinds of things about why certain decisions were made. I just wonder about that one and putting a game on Wednesday night.
The MAC did it for a long time.
They did.
And they got a lot of attention for doing it.
They did. They got a couple of teams on the map.
Tuesdays and Wednesday nights.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept because there's nothing to fill that void right now. If you're a football person, there's not a lot out there. And if maybe you're into baseball, the playoffs, maybe you're not.
I just gave a very honest answer earlier. I wouldn't have watched MTSU Jacksonville State on Saturday. I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I watched it last night.
Yeah, but are they watching in Indianapolis, Indiana, where they've never heard of either one of these teams?
Well, I mean, they can't worry about the country. Yeah. They have to worry about certain areas. And in this area, I watched it. Yeah. I don't know. They can't worry about Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah.
But the question is, did you get more viewers than you would on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday night?
Probably so.
And the answer is
yes.
I don't know how you couldn't say yes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap up the Thursday edition of the McFarland Show next.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
If you're looking for something fun to do with family, friends, co-workers, or clients, look no further than Strike and Spare Family Entertainment. Visit any of their 5 Middle Tennessee Strike and Spare Fun Center locations in Hermitage, Donaldson, Tusculum, Hendersonville, or Murfreesboro. With bowling, games, food, drink, and party options for all ages. Enjoy an enhanced experience in Hendersonville or Murfreesboro, where they feature additional fun with bumper cars, roller skating, bungee trampoline, laser tag, and much, much more. All locations of Strike and Spare Family Entertainment are open 7 days a week, including holidays. Check them out online at strikeandspare.com. Strike and Spare Family Entertainment, where fun is bowling.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the ultra smooth, ultra powerful iPhone 11 for $49.99.
He didn't stutter.
See every angle with dual cameras.
Make it a double.
All on America's largest 5G networks.
Large and in charge, baby.
Get with the power of Boost and get the iPhone 11 for $49.99.
That's half a Benjamin.
Boost Mobile.
Unleash your power.
ID verification required. New customers only at 1 per line. Additional restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com for details.
Welcome back to Total Wine. What brings you in today?
Hey, Ruthie. I need help filling the ultimate beach cooler.
Well, we have the most hard seltzers and amazing canned cocktails anywhere, like High Noon, Cutwater, White Claw, Truly, Topo Chico, Jack Daniels and Coke, Neutral Vodka Seltzer, and Cayman Jack Zero Sugar Margarita in cans.
Wow. I'm going to be the king of the cooler.
And we have them at the lowest prices in town. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, be 21.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new fall arrivals from TaylorMade, Callaway, and Titleist. Come by and test drive the new TaylorMade P790 irons, the new Callaway Apex Pro iron sets, and the new Titleist T-Series irons. While you're there, get a free custom fitting on the new arrivals and more. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is your headquarters for all the latest golf gear from all the top manufacturers. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at edwinwattsgolf.com.
The 2023 TSU Tiger football season is in full swing. Get your tickets now to join head coach Eddie George and your football Tigers at home in Nissan Stadium. Join us for exciting games, including our homecoming battle with fellow HBCU, Norfolk State, all culminating with a meeting with OVC Conference foe Tennessee Tech on November 18th. Get your tickets plus parking and tailgating passes at tsutigers.com/tickets or call 615-963-ROAR, 615-963-ROAR.
Welcome back to the Strike and Spare Studios. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
One Greg Pogue texted me during the break and said, not only did MTSU play last night, their next two games, and I looked it up, he's 100% correct, are on Tuesday nights.
Wow.
So they host La Tech Tuesday night in Murfreesboro, and then they go to Liberty the following Tuesday. So they're going to go Wednesday, Tuesday, Tuesday.
So much for the friendly Saturday afternoon at Floyd Stadium. I mean, this is what we're doing. Okay. All right, then. I'm fine. Listen, I'm fine with it. I don't think there's a problem with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's a little unconventional, but that's fine. That's fine.
Well, when you're in those conferences, you probably have to, not probably, you need to think outside the box.
Yeah, you're not going to compete with the University of Tennessee. You're not going to compete with the other SEC teams. So go ahead and get your gig out of the way, and play your games there. It's very interesting.
Predators have their final two preseason games in the next two nights. Tonight at home against Carolina, a little home and home with the Hurricanes, and then tomorrow in Raleigh against the Hurricanes, and then it's on. Next week is NHL regular season.
Away we go.
Predators also announced that they're going to honor one David Poile with an on-ice ceremony at Bridgestone Arena on November 22nd.
Very cool.
Winningest GM in NHL history.
Does he get a banner or something? Or
I would think so. Yeah,
okay. They're going to retire his name into the rafters?
I would think so.
All right, then.
It's a game against the Calgary Flames on November 22nd. So if there's anybody who deserves that, it's David Poile.
All right. Well, that's kind of cool. I've seen that around the league from time to time with, important people to the franchise, front office folks are also retired or at least honored in some permanent way with the name up there in the stands or the Ring of Honor or whatever it is.
You rarely see someone be a GM in professional sports at one place for 24 years.
That is unheard of. It's unheard of. So congrats, because we'll probably never see that again.
Probably not. No.
Never, ever.
No.
So congratulations to him on getting something that's going to be absolutely untouchable for probably the history of sports. Very cool.
Classy man, David Poile.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be weird. We need to get him on the show. It's going to be weird.
It's already weird.
Just to, we've only known him. And now, I get it. It's a familiar name and face in Barry Trotz. But it's just weird to know that they're about to kick off a season and David Poile isn't running the show.
Yeah, it's already weird just to know that he's not over there. That to me, already, and they haven't even started yet, but just that part is weird to me already.
Yep. All right, good stuff. Enjoy the rest of your day. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Don't forget, Bill Keene will get things started at 6 a.m., followed by Greg Pogue and John Burton from 9 to 11, and then us at 2 o'clock to wrap up the week. We'll see you then.
560 AM, 95.9 FM, Brentwood, Nashville, 107.9 FM, Smyrna, Nashville's first 24-hour sports station. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Tonight with a wonderful matchup, if I may say so myself, with the Bears going up against the Commanders. Woof, woof. This is not a game that really makes you want to run to the TV set. I will say this, though. This is the type of game where Roger Goodell goes, man, too bad Taylor Swift isn't dating like Sam Howell. Or too bad Taylor Swift is not dating Justin Fields. Because you're going to need more eyeballs to the TV set, or I guess streaming with Amazon to get people to really pay attention. I'll give you more of my breakdown of this game later on in the hour. I'm picking the Commanders. I'll tell you that right now. I'll give you the play on the spread coming up in about 40 minutes, though, from now. But you look at Week 4, and you want to see which teams are going to bounce back in Week 5. You had the Miami Dolphins get blown out by the Buffalo Bills by a score of 48-20. You take a look at the Green Bay Packers. They started Week 4 last week on Thursday Night Football, and they lost in their own building, and the game was never competitive by 14 points. You then see the Cincinnati Bengals, who just got dominated, and that calf injury with Burrow is still impacting that team, but the Bengals lose to the Tennessee Titans by a score of 27-3. You see the New Orleans Saints. They had an awful showing where they couldn't even register a touchdown against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then you take a glance at the Pittsburgh Steelers. We had Nico Collins on for the Texans earlier in the week, and Nico Collins had 2 touchdowns in the game and did have over 150 yards receiving in that 30-6 victory for the Texans up against the Steelers. So we look at those 5 teams, and the Dolphins play the Giants this week, the Packers play the Raiders, the Bengals play Arizona, the Saints play the Patriots, and the Steelers play the Ravens. And we're trying to see those 5 teams, who's going to bounce back this week. You look at the Miami Dolphins. It's perfect timing coming off your only loss of the season and what was a horrible performance for the Dolphins up against the Bills. You're in Miami, and you welcome in the New York